Adam, a retired intelligence operative living a quiet life in Casablanca, is forced back into the fray when Nora, the woman he believed was dead, appears at his doorstep. She carries a dangerous secret that makes her the target of a ruthless criminal syndicate. Through a night of high-stakes chases and flying bullets, Adam must reclaim his lethal skills to protect the love he lost, only to discover that the ultimate betrayal lies closer than he ever imagined. Echoes of Lead and Jasmine. The night in Casablanca was unlike any other. A thick winter mist clung to the city like a white shroud, swallowing the minarets and the restless Atlantic harbor. Adam stood on the balcony of his 20th floor apartment, watching the distant pier lights flicker like drowning stars. The coffee in his hand had long grown cold, and his cigarette was a glowing ember, its smoke dancing around a face marked by a jagged scar above his brow. That scar was a relic of his past, a time when he was a ghost for the intelligence services before he chose to vanish into the shadows of a quiet, lonely life. Suddenly, the heavy silence was shattered. A frantic, rhythmic pounding erupted on his door, a desperate cadence that smelled of fear and impending death. Adam didn't panic. His movements were fluid, surgical. He reached beneath the mahogany table, his fingers finding the cold steel of his Beretta. He approached the peephole, his breath hitched. It was Nora, the woman he thought he had buried in Beirut 3 years ago after that horrific cafe explosion, the woman for whom he had burned his past. He swung the door open. Nora collapsed inside like a dying storm. Her silk coat was torn, her face ashen, and her eyes were wide, brimming with tears and a terror he had never seen before. Before she could even whisper his name, the floor-to-ceiling window behind them disintegrated into 1,000 crystal daggers. A sniper's bullet whistled past Adam's ear, embedding itself in the concrete wall. Without a word, Adam tackled Nora to the ground as a second round scorched the air where they had just stood. "Your luck is as bad as ever, Nora," Adam hissed, dragging her into the narrow hallway as the apartment plunged into darkness. Nora was gasping, her chest heaving. "Adam, I had no choice. They want the phone I'm carrying. It holds names, dates, a conspiracy that will shake this country to its core tomorrow. My brother died for this, and now I'm next." Adam didn't respond. He was listening. The heavy, rhythmic thud of tactical boots was echoing from the stairwell. Professionals. He grabbed her hand, their palms sweating, and led her through a concealed door behind the bookshelf. They descended the dark emergency stairs, their footsteps echoing like heartbeats in the hollow shaft. When they reached the underground garage, a black G-Wagon sat waiting in the shadows. But before they could reach it, 4 masked figures emerged from behind the concrete pillars. The symphony of death began. Adam shoved Nora behind a vehicle and opened fire with a terrifying precision. Each shot found its mark. He moved like a shadow in a hail of lead, ducking, pivoting, and reloading in a single blurred motion. When a mercenary lunged at Nora, Adam intercepted him with a brutal kick to the cervical vertebrae, dropping the man like a stone. They scrambled into the car, the tires screaming against the pavement as Adam floored it, leaving a trail of burnt rubber and gun smoke. The chase through the labyrinthine streets of the old Medina was a masterpiece of chaos. The syndicate's cars were relentless, spraying bullets that sparked against the asphalt. Adam maneuvered through alleyways barely wide enough for a man, jumping curbs and drifting through ancient stone arches until he finally lost them in the maze of the city's heart. They took refuge in a derelict warehouse near the sea, the air thick with the scent of salt and rusted iron. Nora sat on the floor, shivering uncontrollably. Adam pulled out a first aid kit, his hands steady as he began to clean the gash on her forehead. For a moment, time stopped. Their eyes met, and the old embers of a love he tried to kill began to glow again. "Why did you leave me, Nora?" he asked, his voice low and jagged. Nora touched his face, her fingers trembling. "I had to die so you could live. They threatened you, Adam. My death was the only price they'd accept to leave you in peace." The revelation hit him like a physical blow. The real enemy wasn't just outside, it was the very system they had both served. But the peace was short-lived. A massive explosion buckled the warehouse's main gate. Light flooded in, and with it came Saker, the man Adam once viewed as a mentor, now the leader of the syndicate. "Adam!" Saker shouted, his expensive suit pristine amidst the dust. "Hand over the girl and the phone. I'll give you a new passport and enough money to disappear on any island in the world." Adam smiled a cold, mirthless smile. He stood in front of Nora like a mountain of iron. "Saker, you forgot one thing you taught me. A wolf never surrenders his pack, especially when she is his entire life." The final confrontation was a blur of violence and adrenaline. Adam used every lethal skill in his arsenal. It was a brutal man-to-man struggle, the sound of breaking bone and suppressed grunts. While they fought, Nora found her courage. She activated the encrypted phone and began broadcasting the data directly to the international press and clean government officials, dismantling Saker's empire in real time. Seeing his world crumble, Saker tried to reach for a grenade, but Adam was faster. With a final crushing blow, he sent Saker spiraling off a high catwalk into the darkness below. As the sun began to bleed over the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and gold, Adam and Nora emerged from the burning warehouse. The distant wail of sirens grew louder. Adam was bleeding from his side, but he felt a strange, newfound lightness. Nora leaned against him, whispering, "Is it over?" Adam looked out at the vast waking ocean. "No," he said, a faint smile touching his lips. "It's just beginning. But this time, we are the ones writing the story." They walked along the shore, the wet sand yielding beneath their feet, as the tide washed away the bloodstains they left behind, announcing the rebirth of a love forged in fire and lead.